and we're just going to start with a glute stretch. So you could always just do a pigeon stretch off the floor too if you don't have that, but just we're thinking 20, 30 seconds each stretch, but just I'm going to come up, I'm going to cross my leg there, drop down. Ideally, you want to try to get this knee to the flush against that. If you had to, you can always elevate a pillow if you can't get it there. And just nice and slow, we're going to take some deep breaths. Keep my back straight, just lean forward. Just stretching out those hips. Karen did a really good video the other day, yesterday, on posture and stuff like that. When you think sitting and if we're sitting more, and just in general, I think we're always like that. It's just this area tends to get tight. So I want to make sure that we're foam rolling it, stretching it out regularly. But I'll get 20 seconds, I'll come up, do the same thing on the other side. Again, I just went through this with everyone, so I'm feeling a lot looser, which, kind of just goes to show you after you do it, your body does feel better. It's going to be really loose. And you can kind of play around, just search. Breathing is just real important. You're trying to take some deep breaths. From there, what we're going to do is just going to go into my toe touch hamstring. So just the bottom part of our toe touch. So what I want to think about is just in each position, I'm going to reach down, touch your toes, and you can kind of keep your legs straight, but feel where your fingers are at, where your hands are at. So as time goes on, you should feel like they're getting lower and you're gaining a little bit more mobility right here. So just deep breath. And then I'm going to pull myself down, get those knees outside. I'm trying to press my feet into the ground. I'm pushing on my knees with my elbows. I'm driving back in with my knees. And I'm trying to push my hips through my legs. Deep breath, and then I come back up, and I'll get 5 reps of these. And try to lock those legs out. Deep breath up top. Pull yourself down. Again, drive. Press those feet into the ground. Back up. And you should almost feel as you're doing this, it's feeling easier, getting looser. Real important, keep those toes pressed into the ground. Press your feet into the ground. Create that tension with your bottoms of your feet. Really sink down low. Just trying to improve range of motion. Very good. From there, what we're going to do is just our Spider-Man reach, and I'm going to shoot for 3 of these. So I'm just going to get into a push-up position, and I'm going to step up, keep that back leg locked out, and I'm going to reach up. Deep breath up top. Deep exhale, long exhale. Try to go a little bit farther. Switch, I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm trying to keep my back straight as I'm trying not to move my body too much. Lock that back leg out. Exhale top. a little bit farther. All right, I'll get 3 of those. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into this half kneeling, straighten this leg out. I wanna try to point that toe toward my shin, and I'm just gonna keep my back straight. I'm gonna hinge. Just let my fingers hang. I'm trying to think about getting those fingers to the ground without rounding my back. Get like 20, 30 seconds there. I feel a lot looser than what I did when I first started it. Same thing, back straight. Feel that stretching that, pointing those toes back. Again, for me, mobility, it's not about how flexible you are. So I wouldn't be concerned if like you're really tight and you don't have a lot of range of motion with this. Mobility is just moving well. I've seen people that are very flexible not move well, and you've seen people that aren't that flexible move very well. So, movement is just getting your body relaxed. The more relaxed your body is, the better it's going to move through its range of motion. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do our couch stretch. So I like to get some pillows. I prefer to do it off the wall because I want that toe pointing straight up. So sometimes if I'm here, I can get that toe like that, which makes it not as intense of a stretch, but I'll get that right there. And I'm trying to get that leg flush. And I want to sit up nice and tall. And just good stretch right there. And I prefer the wall if you guys have it. I think it eliminates and really kind of shows where you're at and where you're tight a little bit better. But we don't want to arch the back to compensate. So if I had to, I could bring my knee out more. Like you find the right position that you can sit up nice and tall and find that stretch that works for you. But again, like we're thinking like 20, 30 seconds each side, and we're just breathing, nice, slow, deep breaths. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And you can tell like and this side's tighter for me. So you start learning about your body and, different areas that are tighter than others. And those are the areas you're going to want to spend more time on. So if I'm stretching and I'm doing my mobility, say 20, 30 seconds, I might, if I'm not that tight on this side, I might only be like 15, 20 seconds, and I might be 30 seconds to a minute over here. So you just got to pay attention to what your body's telling you. And then from there, I'm going to go to my hip flexor stretch. So I'm going to step up, and I want to make sure that I'll do this side. I want to make sure that this knee is behind my hip right here. I don't want to arch my back. So I'm going to squeeze my butt, but I'm in this position and I'm thinking about driving that hip forward. So I should feel something right here already. And then whatever knee is down, you can take this arm and reach over. And I'm thinking about actively pushing this hip forward without arching my back. Should feel a good stretch right in that front part of your hip. I would say this is another really important area to focus on, especially just if you're sitting, if you sit at a desk or you're sitting more in general. Runners, think like that flexion position, we'll get tight there. So Want to lengthen it. Best way, foam roll it, get your body in that relaxed state, and then stretch it out. So I'm gonna knee behind the hip, squeeze the butt so I don't arch the back. Feel a little stretch there. Breathe. I'll get both sides. And then, you know what I might do? I might use this. So I'm gonna use my coffee table for this, but it's a good thoracic opener and lat opener too. So it's a good lat stretch and it opens that upper back area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here. The key that you wanna think about is you wanna get your knees outside your hips first. So you wanna get those knees outside the hips. I'm gonna tuck my chin, get to the end of the coffee table, and I'm gonna think about driving my hips down. So I'm gonna actually drive my chest down and think about pushing my hips back. It's not working for me. The key though is you want to make sure that your knees aren't too far in. I want to have my knees back, and then I'm going to think about just pushing my hips back as I drop my chest down. From there, I'm going to go to my elbow to elbow. So just, again, I would hold that for 20 or 30 seconds, and then I'll go here, right hand behind the head, come down, and we'll open up. Now I want to keep my butt on my heels so I don't, I'm going to take my low back out of it. And I'm trying to open up my chest, not pull with my elbow. Eyes are following the hand, come all the way back down. Open up. I'll get 6 to 8 of those, and then we'll do the other side. Think about opening that. And you should see sides that feel tighter. Like this side feels a lot tighter for me. And you can play around and just kind of hold and understand your body with it. Next thing, our chest stretch. So I really do like this chest stretch, but we're gonna come down to the ground, kind of like bottom. I'm gonna reach my arm out. That. So I'm in here. I was thinking 10 and 2 o'clock. I'm gonna have one hand in the push-up position, the other hand at that 10 or 2. And what I want to think about is I'm almost gonna look over my shoulder of the push-up hand, and I want to feel stretching the shoulder right here. Once I feel that, I'm going to take this same leg as that push-up hand and step over. I'll get that foot flat to the ground. You can't see it, but it's flat. Stepped over, and I should feel a good stretch in that shoulder. I'm trying to look over. It's an intense stretch. About get my 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then I'll do the same thing. I want to feel, you can always play around with where this hand is a little bit. Feel that stretch in the shoulder, and then we're going to step over. Let's take some deep breaths. Make sure you're feeling a good stretch. I'll come out of that. I'm going to scoot to my side, just start. I'm going to go right to my rotator cuff stretch and just kind of get into this side lying position. I'm going to bring my arm here. I want to keep that upper arm, shoulder on the ground. And you want to be very gentle with this and careful, but I'm just going to sort of go down with it. Use the other arm to sort of, again, I want to keep this down. You can always play around with. And you want to be careful with it. But you should feel a little something in that rotator cuff region. Again, be easy, be gentle with this. That's tender area. I want to like kind of go into the position gently and come out of it. But like as I'm kind of going, I'm just taking some deep breaths. I might try to get a little bit farther into it. Again, I don't want to force anything. I'll switch. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Should feel something right in that. And I think ideally we want to get as close to the floor as possible without this part of your arm, without raising that up. All right. All right, and then I'm going to make it a little dynamic, just upper body wise. I'm going to do our Blackburns. So what I'm thinking is we'll do, just coming down here. So just keep those arms up, reach out, big circle, try to go up the back. I'll get 8 of those, just really opening that upper back, shoulders out. Just kind of loosens everything up. And then the last thing to finish out with, so we're going to do a windmill, but I want to break down the movement. So what you want to think is you want to hinge right there. So if I show you from the side, it's using your hips to kind of push back. So notice my knees aren't bending, my knees aren't falling forward. I'm kind of in this good V shape. My back is straight and my forearms are here. I should feel a little stretch in my hamstrings. From here, what I'm going to do is keeping this arm on my leg, I'm going to open up and try to straighten this leg out. And I'm trying to push this hip back as I bring this arm reach down. So I'm reaching up to the ceiling, pushing my butt back and trying to reach this arm down. and there should be a nice straight line, and I'm trying to open everything up. So I'm opening my upper back up, trying to drive this hip back. I want this knee not to fall forward too much. So it should be pretty vertical. And we just open up and just take some deep breaths. And then I'm just gonna think about pushing my hips forward to come back up. I'll do the same thing on the other side. So on the hinge, hands down, and then I'm gonna open up, try to straighten this leg out, reach up to the ceiling, reach down, then open the upper back. Just take some deep breaths. Should be a nice straight line between both arms. So I don't want to be forward. I'm trying to really open that up. There's a lot of good stuff going on, just movement-wise, whatnot, but I'll hold that for 20, 30 seconds too. So that is our daily dozen. 12 exercises. Should have you feeling pretty good. Have a great day, guys.